Last season we explored the world of cosmetic surgery and helped many people on what they call the journey to becoming the younger you. There are so many reasons why people want to look and feel younger. Billions of dollars are spent every year in the cosmetic industry. But this year, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this international conversation. Today, here on The Younger You.
I'm on top of the world, now I'm living. And the good just gets better, keeps on giving. Not even close to the end, it's just beginning. Life is getting lighter while the days are getting brighter, yeah. And it's a good, I won't even worry anymore. Took all my cares, still can kick them all out the door. Go on and try, come and tell me what you're waiting for. Move and keep them going till your life is overflowing, yeah.
Welcome to The Younger You. I'm so excited to be back for the second season, but I wanted to kick things off with a discussion with some of my wonderful friends about why we do what we do to become a younger you. Before we get started, I want to introduce you to our guests. Dr. Dain, he's a speaker, author and facilitator of consciousness. Eric Schmidt, he's our resident mental health expert. And of course, Kim Fisher and Nadia Crow, ABC4 News anchors and our media representatives for the day. Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1.
So excited to be here.
What's the feeling like being interviewed instead of being the interviewer?
It's different.
It is. It almost seems like maybe less stress though, because I will just rely on you.
Exactly.
Oh, so the pressure's on. Dan, thank you for joining us.
Thank
again.
you for having me.
And Eric, of course, a great pleasure to see you.
Thanks, good to
All
be
right,
here.
I want to kick this off straight away, and I don't want you to think about the age part of it. Do you think it's the same pressure for men and women when it comes to aging in corporate America?
I don't think so. I think the pressure's more on women.
Really?
Without a doubt. I think women get a lot more pressure for appearance than men do. You know, we were talking earlier about how men, it's what you're wearing, it's the car you drive, it's the woman that's on your shoulder. For women, we can't walk out of the house without makeup. We can't walk into business without our outfits perfectly, done to a T. Not only that, we have to cover enough, but not cover too much. There's a lot of pressure on women about our appearance.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Kim. I think for women, other women are judging you, and then you have men that are judging you.
So women are judging you as
Oh,
well as the men.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even
And
more
the way
so.
they're judging you is not pretty. I'm sorry, I'm not a woman, but I know this. I've got so many women I work with, and so many female friends. And one of the things we were speaking about earlier is the standard of judgment is different. Men are judged for the car and the woman on their arm, their clothing, their accessories, etc. Women are judged primarily for how they look.
Yeah.
Before somebody gets underneath the surface to see how they actually perform in the job that they do.
Yeah. And if you're too pretty, you get, oh, she's just a pretty face, and no one takes her seriously. But if you come across not as feminine, then you may get judged as not being soft enough and maybe being too harsh.
Being too harsh.
Right.
What
I
do
get
you
that
think,
a lot.
Eric? How do you ease into transition when it comes to corporate America? Being a mental health expert, how do you push that aside if you feel judged and still get on with your work?
Feeling judged is an interesting question, because I think we are all constantly feeling judged, and the first place we feel judged is how we look, and partially because that's how we judge people, as we quickly ascertain how
Because
they
we do
how they
judge.
look.
We
do.
Even
We
though
want
we
to find
try
out if a
not to be.
situation is
Yeah.
safe, and the quickest way for us to find out if a situation is safe is to calibrate the people around us. In terms of aging, I think the one thing that I would mention in terms of men versus women is I think there's a lot of pressure for men to look older. There's
Earlier
some
on in
value,
life, you mean?
Earlier on in life, there's some value to seeming stately,
True.
but you
I
want to
get
stay
that.
young at the same time. You still better be able to run a marathon.
Well, yes, and I think like earlier on in my career that I was not in media, but I had businesses from the age of 21, and I remember going into the bank and they wouldn't help me. I couldn't even get a credit card machine for my salons because they were like, you're too young. I'm like, really? And I used to tell people I'm older, so then they respected me.
Yeah.
As did I in the work that I do. I mean, I literally started creating gray hair. I remember the day I chose it. And I'm not even kidding. I started creating gray hair because no one would listen to me. I would be delivering seminars and they'd go, well, you look like Doogie Howser. You're too young to know anything that would help me in my life. And I'm like, yeah, but I've had a lot of life experience. And so I remember the day I started that. So there is something to be said for that. But I think also if we look and recognize that there are a lot of people who haven't fit the norm or the stereotype, but were so comfortable being them that we would listen to them, we would watch them, And I think the impetus is really getting out of the judgment of us that we've learned is so valuable and vital, and I think that's where we should head.
I want to ask you, being obviously African American and
That's
our great
right.
friend here,
Wait,
do you
is she?
No, I don't know how that
I love my
happened.
heritage. Yes.
Do you feel it's different for you as it would be for Kim, both being news anchors? Do you think the pressure is different?
I think the pressure when you add in race, people think, okay, she was hired because of her race.
Yeah.
So then you
Oh,
have this, you know, obviously my age being one of the younger news anchors at the station, that's not my main concern. It's proving that I deserve to be here regardless of my race. So people would say, oh, well, they hired her because they needed more diversity. That doesn't, so that takes away my qualifications, that takes away my experience, that takes away my expertise, that takes away my talents and my skills, that takes everything and strips me down to just being a black woman.
Well, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back after this short message. Looking for the perfect beauty product? Each week, The Younger You highlights a standout product in the health and beauty industry. Head over to theyoungeryou.tv and check it out. Love to hear your comments. Do you feel the pressure for men and women to be young and beautiful is the same in your work environment? Let's find out what my panel of experts think. This is for you two girls because I think retirement at 66, it's gone further now. In media, you know, I'd like you two to talk about the professional side on how they should carry themselves, but being in media, women are judged, okay, from 40 on. And knowing that retirement now is being pushed to 66, and I have to say, by the time we get to 66, it'll probably be 76.
Right.
Because that's what we need to do as a society to
Right.
keep working. How are you going to cope with those pressures? And how can you help our viewers go, they're right, that's a good tool?
I don't believe, and this is just my honest opinion, that
Okay.
I will still be in this business at 66.
Okay,
There's
Barbara.
no place for. Hey, Barbara Walters, she is a
86
phenom.
or something?
But hold
Yeah.
on, how many Barbara Walters are out there?
Exactly.
You look at local news stations, they start weeding us women out when we're in our 50s. You don't see a woman in her 60s
Reading the news.
reading the news in a local news market. They just don't have any need for
Okay,
us.
interesting you say that. Would you consider having a facelift? If of what Kim just said. At 50, you know that you might be getting weeded out.
Right.
Would you go under the knife?
I don't think that going under a knife would really matter because people would say, you've been on air for X amount of years,
Yeah.
it's time to get her out of there.
Oh.
Whereas as my co-anchor could be 20 years older than me, and he can stay until they
But you're
have to
gonna
drag
go.
him out of there. But they're going to kick me out.
What do you
Right.
think
And
of that?
there's a fine line there.
So what people do is they're sharing their own judgments that they have with us. And that's basically, if we could get the media from being a business where stereotypes are the most valuable product and quality of being in person and how they show up is, like Barbara for an example, she's a phenom, but she was not taking no for an answer.
Right.
She's like, I am going to be the best at what I do and I'm not going to stop. And I think if we could allow ourselves to do that and get out of the judgments of us, because we show people how to treat us. If we buy those points of view, that's what ends up showing up. If we can get over those points of view, we have choices.
Are we, us three, responsible for putting that out there?
Absolutely. Every single day I put that out there, and sometimes it's not received very well. But as a woman in this business, I can say one of the hardest things that I've had to deal with is you're attractive, therefore you're not very intelligent. You have this job because you're attractive, not because you're qualified. So it's pretty similar to what Nadia was saying. So every single day I'm out there talking with people on social media, in person, and it's constantly trying to prove that point that I am intelligent, that I am deserving of this position. And I feel like that's part of this job, is to constantly drive that home. And I'm going to keep doing it
Yeah.
until they push me out the door.
And we are role models.
Yeah.
I mean, whether you like it or not, there are little girls watching us, looking up to us. So we have to stand for more than just being a pretty face. And
So what lipstick do you wear? What should I be wearing?
see, and those are some of the questions that I do
know.
get.
More
Some
of the
people will
questions
say-
that we get, yeah.
I just got a Facebook comment that said, I want to know how old is Nadia, and if she wears extensions, and where she goes to get to the salon. And so I politely answered some of those questions, and I said, I hope the next time we talk, you'll ask me about that special report I just did,
Right.
or
Okay.
about our last newscast. So you have to remind people of what's important.
Yep.
All right. We're talking about newspapers, advertising, radio, okay? How they shape the public's view. Because I know when I read something, I think, oh, I could be a little bit thinner, or I could be on that exercise program, or something like that. How do you guys, you two being in that type of industry of motivating people and helping people, what do you hear about the pressures out there?
The simplest thing is the pressure to be perfect in every regard.
Oh, I hate that.
Which is, I mean, it's the worst thing you can inflict on somebody, because perfect is you have to judge everything. How do I look? How am I feel? Oh, I didn't wake up happy today. I must be doing something wrong. Oh, wow, I don't fit into my skinny jeans. I must be doing something wrong. And that's perpetrated on us as though whatever's being sold or whatever's being talked about is the answer out of it. And the problem is, it's not. It's our self-judgment that is the problem that makes us crave the outside solution anyway. And I know that can sound sort of simple on the one hand, but you can change it. You just have to give people the tools to actually start valuing themselves.
What are some of those tools, Eric?
I think one of the first tools that we try to teach is confidence. And confidence is not necessarily, is a combination of how we think about ourselves and then how mindful we are, and how we present, how interpersonally effective we are. And as we become more interpersonally effective, and as we feel more confident, we're do much better with one another. And I like what Dain said, because we create all these judgments about ourselves based upon the characters we see on TV, the images we see on the front of Men's Health magazine. Oh, my abs are supposed to look like that. They don't.
Yeah.
And
I know.
and don't we all?
Yeah.
I couldn't button this
Do
on the
we
way
suck
in.
in? Did us men just suck our stomach in then? Okay.
I couldn't do it.
Sucking it in the whole time, exactly.
The pressure to achieve is at an all-time high, and with that comes the pressure to look younger and more beautiful. When we come back, we will talk about the media and how it can influence one's self-image. Closed captioning for The Younger You is brought to you by Mindful Medical. Welcome back to The Younger You. Well, what we're talking about today on the show is the questions and answers that you wanted to hear, that you sent to us on our Facebook and email. So, of course, I've got Eric, I've got Kim, Nadia and Dan. How are you all?
Good.
Good. A woman or a guy out there that are having those issues, okay, you say help them get confidence. You know what? I'm a very confident guy. You know, everyone says to me, you go out, you get it, you do everything you say you're going to do. But let me tell you, the minute that camera comes on me, I am so self-conscious about the way I look, about the pressure, about how people are going to judge me at home. I have, like you, people come up to me in the street and go, geez, you're a little fatter on camera than you are in... I almost die.
That's my favorite. Hold on, that's my favorite.
And it's hard.
You're so much smaller in person. Yeah, I know. I look fat on TV. Thanks for reminding me of that.
Wow.
What do you do? Because I will be honest with you, sometimes I do go home and I feel like I need to be better. And then I don't like to use this word because depressed, I think, is a negative word. And I don't like to say it publicly, but I do feel low.
Yes. And
what do you do about that?
Well, here's one of the things that I found in the work that I do is that when somebody has a judgment of you, you pick it up energetically.
Yeah.
And what people are out there doing, in your line of work especially, is people, thousands, tens of thousands, are judging you on a daily basis for everything that's not right in their lives. They're projecting onto you their judgment.
I didn't think of that. Did
I
you?
can see that too.
Oh, absolutely. This is something that I've thought about every single year of my life in this business. And over the past few years, I've really started focusing on, okay, well, what is it that's going to make me feel better about myself? What is it that's going to give me more confidence? And what you have to do is you focus on the things that you know are great about you, whether it's your intelligence, your humor, your ability to do your job, some sort of talent. And you can work on the other things that you don't see as fantastic, but if you really focus on those things that you do well, and then you put that out there to other people, and then you help other people focus on the things that they do well, you don't bring those people down, you start feeling better about yourself.
But then we teach that to our children as mums. We all have friends that are mums with kids, and they teach their kids good morals and values. But yet, where do we mess up? As teachers to our kids, yet we have those insecurities ourselves.
Well, you have so many images coming
Bingo.
at these kids. So you have moms saying, no, honey, you're beautiful. And then she's looking at magazines and TV.
Going on
and
the
the
cotton
other
wool
girls
diet. Or,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I will have women that come up to me and they'll say, gosh, you're even skinnier than I thought you were. or
Right.
you're even skinnier than I thought you looked on TV.
And what do you say?
then I feel like, oh my goodness, am I too thin? You know, because
That's interesting.
You know, so it's even the reverse, and it's they're projecting how they feel about their body image onto me. But I have to go home and have a reality check with myself.
Yeah.
Because you'd have all of these images, you have all of these people telling you how you should look, how they perceive you to be. You have to have a reality check and say, okay, I like my size. I'm a petite woman. I will always be petite, and that's just me.
Half
you have
your
to take
luck.
that in.
Can I give a tool that you can actually use
I'd
to
love
change
that.
this,
I'd
like
love
right
that.
now?
Yeah.
Because we're all very
And-
insecure.
Well, and the interesting thing is some of the most secure people you meet have that going on,
Yeah.
but they never let it show. But there's a tool you can use. If you ask, who does this belong to? In the middle of that judgment, in the middle of that, oh no, I'm feeling this way about myself, or oh no, am I too skinny, or oh no, I'm not doing a good enough job, if it lightens up at all, if it goes away at all, it's because it's not yours. And then you just return it to whoever it came from. Now,
I like that.
I want to
and
send
it's
a
real
lot of
simple.
stuff back.
Yeah.
I want to say I cured myself of depression 15 years ago using that tool, because all the depression that I was experiencing, every time I'd say, who does this belong to, the depression would lift. So then I'd say it again and again and again, and after about 20 times, I was no longer depressed, and I would do it every time it happened, and over the course of about 3 months, gone, changed.
Interesting. This is an interesting topic, so I decided to take it to the street yet again to find out what you at home had to say.
I guess it depends on like what kind of position you are, a public figure. Like if you're in the media and you know people are gonna probably pick you apart. So there's probably more pressure there whether you're a guy or a girl. If you're in the media, there's always gonna be more pressure on you.
Yes, I was actually just on the phone with my husband and we had a conversation about this. He read an article about narcissism and how our generation is in general more vain and more materialistic and more concerned about our looks. If you're, looking for a solution to be something that you're not, it's just a cup that can't be filled.
Yes, I do sometimes compare myself to my friends on social media. You can see everyone takes a lot of pictures and they always look their best in them. And yes, they use a lot of filters. And it's all this pressure to look like them.
Personally, probably my diet. It's hard to plan meals, so a lot of the time I find myself like eating out or grabbing a quick lunch break and just finding something in the mall. So it can be difficult to maintain a good diet.
The whole world is constantly staring at their phones, and it's no wonder the media, no matter what form, has such a big impact on people's self-image. Let's talk more after the break. Like us on Facebook for updates on the show and how to join the Younger You conversation. I really wanted to talk about social media and what effects it has taken over the world. Now let's just remember, it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I also want to throw in there dating sites.
Yeah.
All right, because it's a judgmental place.
You had to add that, didn't you?
So this is one of the questions that a viewer wrote in, is have you ever found yourself comparing your life to your friends on social media?
Absolutely.
So do I.
Absolutely. I think being in this business, you start off in smaller towns and you work your way up to bigger cities. And that's the path for a journalist. But when I look at my friends who fresh out of college were making 6 figures and traveling, and I'm making $25,000 a year, calling my grandpa for grocery money. It's a different world, and you can see, and that's what some people portray on social media, that their life is just fabulous and they're so happy. Whether that's true or not is a different story.
And we're going to get into that.
Yeah, that's what they're portraying.
That's what I want to ask the two professionals about. But I think we all look at each other's Facebooks, like you're skiing or you announced your engagement,
Right.
and we looked at that and we commented, and now were some people jealous?
I imagine so.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I imagine so.
Were they going, well, that ring's a little too big, or it's a little too small, or, where she took the picture wasn't that great?
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and admit there are times when I'm scrolling through my feed and I feel a twinge of jealousy over something, and I look even deeper into that, and then I go, wait a second, hold on. this is my friend. Where's this jealousy coming from? I'm gonna like that photo and I'm gonna say congratulations. I feel like it's part of human nature to feel that way, but
I'm glad you said that.
it's how we
Good on you.
react to it.
But I think there are
Yes.
some people who follow you on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook so they can say something nasty.
Haters.
So they can make fun of you, right? You
Right.
know? They took a big gulp of that haterade that morning, and
Right.
now they're going to unleash that on you. So, especially on our professional sites.
And we're
where
talking
we
on the
have-
professional
on-
side,
Right,
yes.
on our
Right.
professional sites, we have people who are our Facebook friends, but they're viewers, and you don't have a personal connection with them. And I really do believe that some of them are only following me so that they can make nasty comments.
I hear you, because it's happened to me a
100%.
lot here as well when I first came here, but it has eased off because they've got to know me
Yeah.
and know where I'm coming from. As the professionals on the outside looking in with what we're saying, I don't care whether it's a work hate or a private hate. It's still a hate and a judgment. How do you tell us to protect ourselves from that?
Well, I think it goes back, and I hate to keep using this word confidence.
Oh,
but
that
I
word.
I know you hate that word, but we gave a little recipe for how to get it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So we're not leaving you hanging with just be confident. I think the most important thing is to know that you're you, and we talked already about projection some, and I think the people that are haters typically project. Projection is actually just a defense. It's a way to distract myself from how I feel about myself. So it's those people that, hey, I just bought a new house, and you hear them whispering to their wife or their friend, jerk, look at that McMansion.
Yeah.
But what that's about is them. Because the people that are confident and the people that kind of know who they are going to say, hey, good for you.
Just like I
And
was
that-
saying, I think it's that you have that automatic reaction sometimes, but then you realize this isn't about them. This is about me.
Well, and their reaction isn't about you, it's about them.
Right.
And that's really what you want to realize is somebody who's truly happy with themselves doesn't go around judging others and posting hateful stuff anywhere. They just
You're right.
receive whatever gift you have to offer or not and move on with their lives. The difficulty, I think, is most people have really tiny lives and they're looking for you to fulfill something. And when you don't give it to them in exactly the right way, then they go and do this. And one of the things that I found is, what if we actually treated people the way we should have been treated, not the way we were treated? Because what happens is a lot of us will get judgment and then we throw judgment out. What if you treated people the way you should have been treated in those situations? And recognize that people only accuse you of what they themselves are judging in their own world.
And Dane is onto something, because you uttered the really dirty word, which is should. And that talk comes from, this is how I should be, because
Right.
this is what this person told me I should be. This is what my mom said I should be. Or my mentor.
Yeah.
Or when the camera turns on, this is how I should present, this is how I should speak, this is how I should look. And we're loaded with shoulds. And that's a great tool, actually, to kind of release shoulds, because what we're really doing when we're building confidence is always practicing, you hit on this a little bit, acceptance versus change. You know, what if this is mine that I want to accept and I want to keep? This is really mine. And what are the things that I really want to change, that I really want to improve on? It's not because of shoulds, it's because I really want to improve in that area.
I like that. I'm thinking, sitting here to myself, because quite often I text my colleagues when they're on air saying, I love your hair, or I love that your dress, or you're looking so gorgeous tonight. I think it's important because I know
Yes.
what
That
it's like.
reinforcement
Also, I think
from
so.
somebody
don't you?
who you know loves you, cares
Yeah.
about you, because you know they're getting a lot of negative forces in their life that are coming in and trying to break them down. So it's nice to have someone tell you, I do like this, or you are
Yeah.
doing a great job.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that, guys. If you want to find out more information about the younger you and all the topics that we discussed here and information about our guests, head over to theyoungeryou.tv and I'll see you next week.
The Younger You set provided by Madison McCord Interiors.